I'm sure the audio
I
is
could still
good.
listen to it actually. I'm sure it's fine though.
I'm sure we sound beautiful. All right.
We
Yeah,
always sound
we're
beautiful.
live too, like right now.
Right now. Okay.
We be
Wait, what the heck? It's not playing for me.
we
Whatever.
do be live.
Oh, I see. Yes. Hello, world. All right, I'll send the notification out.
Cool. Exciting.
Bam.
Blam.
Yeah, and the audio sounds all right from the little peak that I looked at.
I'm gonna do a shark hype react on there.
I am also gonna do that.
Yes. All right. We'll just wait like 5 seconds, see if anyone shows up.
Let people come in.
Yes. She says she can hear the sounds.
All the sounds have been heard. Sweet.
She can hear the people sing.
Wait.
Singing the songs.
One second.
Oh.
Yo, we got a sub.
Whoa, dude, we got a sub.
Yo, Moku, thanks for subbing.
Yo.
It's me.
Thanks for this sub.
That's me for people who don't know.
Yes, that is you.
There it is. 5 months. It's crazy.
Side note, like when you edit the podcast for this, do you cut out this part before I do the intro?
Yeah,
okay.
I cut everything before the intro.
Okay, cool.
Unless it like turns the conversation, like the relevant conversation.
Yeah.
Like there was one that I did before, but everything else is just at the intro.
Okay, fair enough. All right, that's good to know. Okay, cool. I'm gonna bring up the chat and then...
Hey Wowza.
Hey Wowza, how's it going? Today is the podcast, except for there's no Niko. There's no Nicholas today. Which we'll chat about in a second. Okay, all right. We're gonna do our little I'll do our intro and then we'll get into things and start chatting. Okay. Hello and welcome to the NativShark Podcast. I'm your host Caleb, brought to you with a guest today. We have Ty.
Hello.
Also from NativShark. And of course, NativShark Podcast is sponsored by the NativShark platform. Go and sign up today. Learn some Japanese. Come see what we're up to.
Some nice natural Japanese.
Yeah, man. It's the best way to learn Japanese. Just is. If you're not using it to learn Japanese, I'm not sure what you're doing.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I don't know what to say. Yeah. All right. So, okay, interesting. We have Ty today instead of Nicholas. How could that be? Why would that be? Well, that's because they're having a baby. Niko and they are having a baby today. Like today. Actually it was like yesterday, and all went well. But
good.
Yeah, he's busy being a father this week. So yeah, he's not really doing much work, which is good. He shouldn't be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Kids are a lot of work, especially when they're being born.
Right. We don't know. We're young and haven't had children, so we can see how much effort it is.
Yeah, I mean, I have a nephew, and I know he's a lot of work whenever I looked after him. But having my own kid, my God, that's so much.
Yeah. Big congrats to Niko, though.
Yeah, big congrats.
Exciting, congratulations, sir. So yeah, today it's just me and Ty, kind of just chatting, seeing what's going on. So all right. I mean, how's it going? What's up, Ty?
Pretty good. Just in the groove of everything, really. Living in Japan, all that.
Yeah.
Starting to get used to everything.
Just kind of vibing.
Yeah, kind of vibing, really.
Getting a bank account soon, I hear.
Getting a bank account soon. Yeah. So Chia and I think we're gonna do that tomorrow.
Okay.
So yeah, there's so much paperwork, dude. Japan, everyone memes on how much paperwork there is in Japan. And it's kind of true.
The meme is real.
It's kind of true.
It's a meme for a reason.
Yeah, it really is. Like, there's just so much paperwork, like, and all these things, like, I mean, you need like a Hanko, right? So you need a stamp that is your personal like stamp. It's your signature.
Yeah, it's like a seal.
Bro, you go to America, you just scribble on paper and that's you're good.
Yeah.
But like in Japan, you have to buy a stamp or a seal, Hanko, whatever the heck. And then you have to register it with the government before it's like really official. And then like they gave me like this little piece of paper that says, yeah, your Hanko is official and it's registered. So I guess I would bring that with me whenever I need some official papers and stuff. So
Yeah.
and that's just the start of it, really. So it's like,
I mean,
there's
yeah, man,
just-
the paperwork is wild.
it's
There's
wild.
bureaucracy is the term, right? It's
Mhm.
it's a very bureaucratic nation.
Yep.
I mean, it works, I guess. Like,
I mean, yeah,
it's annoying.
something about it's working.
It's annoying to deal with, but at the same time, like, you just navigate through it,
Hmm.
and you get things set up. It's like sometimes
Yeah.
it's like frustrating because you know that it could be. They'll be like, "Yes, you need this paperwork," and it's like, but you can do the thing."
Uh,
And they're like, nope, you need this specific piece of paperwork, and then we can do the
Yep.
thing. Even though I could do the thing, I won't do the thing until you have this specific piece of paperwork. I'm totally capable of doing that thing, and I don't actually need it,
Yeah.
but I have a box I have to check that says I must have this piece of paper, so go get that piece of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the hunt begins for wherever the heck that paper is, or you get a new piece of paper.
To get that piece of paper, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, to get that piece of paper.
Yeah. Well, it's like with you and getting what was it, a phone, right? They're like, well, you
Dude,
have
I was gonna say.
you need to have a bank to get a phone. You have a debit card. It's like, okay, I'll use a debit card from America. Okay, no, you can't use a foreign debit card. Okay, sure, fair enough. So it's like, all right, so I'll get a prepaid. No, you can't use a prepaid either.
Yeah.
So it has to have a bank. But to get a bank account, you need a phone number.
Yeah. Dude, oh my
So to
god.
get the
To get a
bank account,
it's
you need a
crazy.
phone number. To get the phone number, you need a bank account so that you have the debit card. So did you end up using Revolut? Is that how you got around it?
Yeah, I used OCN,
Oh, okay.
which was like I did it all online. So I went to Docomo first
Yeah.
because there was one like kind of near my house. So I'm like, oh, this must be easy. And then like I went there, they're like, all right, well, how can you pay for this? I'm like, well, I have a Japanese debit card. They're like, I'm like, what do you mean? Don't give me that reaction.
Oh.
And then they're like, all right, well, you got to go get a bank account. I'm like, I can't get a bank account because I don't have the paperwork for the bank account yet. And then it's like, so I tried to sign up with them, and then they're like, yeah, no, we tried to run it and it doesn't work. So come back when you have a bank account. I'm like, well, I don't have a bank account yet. So I went.
I need the phone number to get the bank account.
Yeah. And then just signing up for that phone number is crazy amounts of information. Like you sign up for a phone in America and you're like, okay, here's a credit card. Here's
An address.
where I live.
Yeah.
Done. That's it. You don't need anything else.
You
But
don't
like
need an ID? I feel like you need an ID. Don't you need a driver's license or something? Maybe not. Shoot.
I don't think so.
Wow.
Maybe on certain ones that are like older, but like I use Google
Yeah.
Fi, and I literally was
You're
just
right.
like, here's my payment information. Thanks.
Yeah.
Right. And then Japan is like, yeah, okay, so we need your Juminhyo, so we need proof that you live here, and then we need your residence card, which is more proof that you live here. We also, can we have your insurance card too? It's like, why do you need all of, what is
all of this? Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
So,
got it.
It's a lot of paperwork. Yeah, I
You got the
it,
phone.
and it
You
feels
used
good.
OCN or something?
Mm-hmm.
I've even
You
never
can
heard
sign
of
up
that.
online with them. Yeah, Jacob uses it. He suggested it to me.
Oh.
So I'm just like, yeah,
Cool.
well, Docomo isn't working, so
What payment method
OCN
did they
is.
accept?
the Revolut card.
Okay.
So the Japanese Revolut.
So yeah, for people who are moving into Japan and you're a foreigner, or even if you're not, you should look for a Revolut account. It makes life way easier. It is an actual digital bank that has a debit card attached to it, and it's a Japanese Visa debit card. So it works in almost all places that a Visa debit card is required. Where a foreign Visa debit card doesn't work. Most times it does, but sometimes it doesn't because they want one that's national. So having Revolut is very easy to set up. It's like you just need a residence card, and then you're good. Or if you're a citizen, it's just a passport or your My Number card, and then you're good. Then you have a bank account, basically. It doesn't entirely work as a bank account, but it works almost like a bank account, enough to get around most things. So that's like the quickest, easiest way to get that established. And then there's more paperwork.
Yeah, more paperwork.
Yeah.
Always more paperwork.
I had cheat codes when I moved here.
You did. Yeah, you did have a cheat
It
code.
was like it's still a hassle. Like Chia just said in the chat, these things happen to natives too. It's just a hassle all around. Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
but the pain isn't is high when you are, you know, actually Japanese citizen. Like it's still the same amount of hassle, but it's not like they're gonna be like, oh, well, nope, just for the sake of you being foreign, which they will do.
Right.
Instead, they'll pretend like they can't do it, but then you'll be like, yes, but you'll squint, and then they'll be like, oh, and they'll grumble, and then they'll fill things out. Yes. Like me getting a bank account, my own bank account, took like 4 hours, and there was a lot of signing of papers, useless papers.
Oh boy.
But it worked out, and we got it at a bank that doesn't like that bank that I got it out doesn't issue banks to foreigners really, but they did because she had a bank account with them. So they were like, well, I guess we'll just have to. You should have seen the grumble.
Yeah, make an exception. Do things not directly on the set path.
So hence it took 4 hours. But I don't know. I don't mind it. I mean, it's annoying, but it works, and then you're done, and then you don't have to deal with it again. So now that we've complained about paperwork for 5 minutes, okay. So, but you're still living at a share house, right? You don't have an apartment yet.
Yep.
So that's the next step. So get bank account and then an apartment.
I'm looking forward to the apartment.
So you're on your way.
By a lot. Yeah, I'm on my way. That's like really the last step, or the last 2 steps is bank account, apartment, and I'm hoping to have both of those solved like by the end of March, which I think is pretty doable. So looking forward to that. Not sure where I would go exactly, but you know, obviously somewhere in Fukuoka. But
yeah,
I have fallen in love with like the kind of the southern area of Fukuoka.
Oh yeah, you like it down there? It's kind of where you're at now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about where I'm at. So
dude, but you could go live on the east side by the beach.
I could.
Up by Manga Souko.
All right, that's the real selling point. You have to say the beach for like, I guess the beach is kind of cool.
Whatever.
Oh, Manga Souko. Oh yeah, Manga Souko. Oh shoot, you're right.
You could live
now.
Over
That's
there.
a convincing argument.
Yeah, just right off the Kaizuka Sen or whatever.
Kaizuka.
Yeah.
I love the kanji for Zuka.
Yeah, me too.
The Kaizuka. It's just such a nice looking kanji. I don't know why. It's just amazing.
Zuka is the one that's like. Is that this one?
It's like dirt and then like buta, I think. And it's got some sort of little crown at the top of it.
Oh, yes. I was thinking of the kai part for some reason, not the Zuka. Yeah. I was like, kai is just like clams.
Kai is seashell.
Yeah.
Kai gara no kai.
Yeah, kai gara no kai. Kai Zuka. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I like Zuka.
But yeah. And then Manga Souko is just the best place. So for people who don't know about it, it's just it's like a used manga game. Like there's a game center in it too, and then just all other stuff like figures and whatnot. And it's like basically heaven is what it is to me.
It's basically Ty's jam.
It's my jam, dude. It's my jam.
Yeah. So I mean that's an option. Think live out that direction.
That's true. There's a nice park there too.
Yeah.
Really nice park right outside of it.
And here's the thing about living out there is I believe the costs are a little bit less for a little bit bigger area. Like, cause it's like, so, you know, it's kind of far, but also not. It's like away from the city center. So yeah, it's an option.
Yeah, it is an option. I think I would rather. I like the kind of Inaka-poi areas more in general anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I like Fukuoka so much, is because there's such a quick transition to every level of Inaka and Tokai.
Yes.
So, like big city. So.
Yes. Dude, okay. So this past weekend, I went to, or Chie and I went with some friends to Itoshima.
Yeah, I saw
Okay, you kind of need a car to really get around down there. But 100% I recommend you make it out there at some point.
Yeah, that's definitely in the plans. Yeah. And that's where the big shrine in the water is, right? Am I wrong on that? I don't remember. I feel like it might be.
I've never been there. But I thought that was up north towards Kita Kyushu, but maybe not.
Maybe. I feel like there's
There
one
might
kind
be
of
one
in Hiroshima as well.
towards Hiroshima there is one.
Itoshima?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm
Itoshima
sure there.
is just the peninsula. It's to the down the south whatever of Fukuoka. It's like 50-minute drive from my house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's super pretty.
Hmm.
There's this really good salt pudding place we went to.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
Salt pudding?
so they make the pudding there, and then they make the sea salt there, and then they sell the pudding in this little glass canister, and they give you a little bit of like caramel, karameru, and they give you some sea salt that they made there, and then you open your pudding and you pour the caramel on there, and then you pour the sea salt on there, and then you have caramel pudding, or so you have salt pudding.
That sounds amazing.
It is incredible.
Oh God.
Yep.
You need to send me that so I can make sure I go to that specific spot too.
Yeah.
Because I need that in my life.
Celtalk says that sounds delicious. I'm gonna tell you, it was. It's one of the most delicious things I've had in a while. And I don't really like desserts.
It's kami.
It's kami.
Yeah, that's a great little slang word too. It's like
it's kami.
It's kami. Kami pudding. It's like God tier pudding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the place because I'm terrible at remember names of things, but I'll tell you what it is. I'll tweet about it on the NativShark Twitter.
That's why I like Google Maps, because it stalks me. And I let it. So I'm like, wait, where was that place? And I just go check my history. Yeah.
Okay, so actually, on that note of places to live, going out west towards Itoshima, so like on the Meinohama, going towards Meinohama, that area as well is really nice vibes.
Yeah,
because it's like
I haven't been over there.
Close to like the hills, and so before you decide on the south, definitely check out the east and the west of it more, just in case.
True. Yeah, I should hop on a train and just
go like
run around.
Go like both ends of the train, because you always go on the train down that direction south, but then you haven't gone to the train west and east quite enough.
True.
Because
yeah,
you can basically just choose anywhere in the area. So
yeah, I really can. Yeah, because once I have my apartment, I can work from home, so no more commuting really, like every day at least.
Yeah.
So
that's exciting. Looking forward to that. Yeah.
So basically always chilling in this office by myself.
I know, man. Except for when I come in on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see some chat. Celtalk said sort of like book off and related to Manga Souko, and kind of. Manga Souko is just a better book off.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, Manga Souko has the game center, so that gives it an edge up on book off. But book off tends to have no, I would say the selection's about the same. I mean, it's whatever people come in and sell. So
Lingo Noob says, I switched from Morning-Coning to NativShark a week ago and finally feel like I'm actually learning laugh face emoji.
Feels good, man.
Feels good, man. Welcome.
Oh yeah.
Glad to have you.
Welcome.
Studying with us. Yeah. It's lots to learn.
Lots to learn.
I can confidently tell you that we do teach all of the language, that you need to be good at the language. Of course, you're going to need to get into some immersion on your own after you've finished phase 1, or like 3/4 of the way through phase 1. You're going to want to step on that a little bit and start branching into some native materials. But other than that, for the fundamentals, we got you more than covered. Happy to have you as a student.
Yeah.
On that note, things that you can do when you've finished phase 1, a student linked in, I think it was like media or something. Or in this Discord, which is NativShark.com/community. Come join us.
Yes.
Where was it? Where did they link that? Was it Learning Progress? Yeah, Learning Progress. All right, so this is Alex.
Here we are.
And he said, I remember when I first watched this video years ago, I assumed I'd never be able to understand it, only enjoy through subtitles. Thank you, NS Phase 1. I understood every word of it. And I thought that was dope. I listened to the song, and it's true. You can. All of the grammar points and all of the words show up in Phase 1, which is kind of wild.
Yeah. It's crazy. Dude, is it I didn't click on the video, but that's the futon kara detakunai no yatsu, right?
That's the one. Yeah.
I don't want to.
I
I
don't want
love that one so
I don't
much.
want to get out of my futon. I don't want to get
I
out of
don't
it.
want to get out of it. And you go to get out. Samui, samui. I love that video.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone should go watch it. It's in Learning Progress channel.
Wowza says hi. That's him. He's Alex.
Mm.
It is so good.
Otsukaresama desu.
Yeah, otsukaresama. That's dope. I love it. It's a really cool share, and
yeah, it's really cool. And that's actually one of the big things that I really love about learning Japanese in general, is because, like, for me especially, video games, like, I would start a video game and get my butt whooped by it, right? I would come back in like 6 months of studies, 3 months, 6 months, however many months of studies. I'd come back, do the same video game, and then like, oh, this is like kind of easy, you know, like I get this, I understand this now. And it was such a cool feeling. And like, that's one of the things that really pushed me, and never, like, why I wasn't never able to give up learning Japanese, like why I could always really just love doing it the whole time, is I would come back and to a certain thing that I dropped because it was too hard. And I'd be like, oh, this is easy now. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's always like a fun like motivation boost, you know, when you're studying, you just go back and be like, oh, that used to be really hard, and now it's not. And with like a targeted, focused platform like NativShark, you really get to you really get to feel like, oh, I'm making progress at something that is also corresponding to me being able to understand what I want to do easier, rather than like when you're using a bunch of resources and all random shit, you don't really know exactly what it is that's working. You're just kind of like, I guess I'm getting better.
Something.
Yeah, but when you're using something like NativShark, you can be like, you can mark your progress and be like, oh yes, after this milestone, I realized that I got better at this thing. And there's like stopping points that you can check your knowledge along the way, kind of like built into the way that it works, which can help you feel significantly more motivated.
Yeah. And the progress comes much quicker because there's not a lot of junk and not a lot of restudying and not a lot of relearning. Like if you use multiple resources, you're going to have to, like, say one resource ends, now you need to resource hop to something else because you just hit the maximum of what that resource teaches.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of burning time on that resource swap to try and figure out where the heck you actually are.
Exactly.
in this resource.
Yeah. Resource swapping can become a detrimental pattern when you're learning anything. At a certain point, you need to stick with a method that you feel you can trust. The best way to determine if you can trust a method or not is to talk to the people that have used that method, and see what their experience was with that method, see what they liked, what they didn't like about it, and then compare their ability, and see if that's something that you also would want to have. That's like the best way to verify a method, which is one of the reasons why, like, you're such a good example and such a good champion of NativShark, and why you have the position that you have, which, like, I guess I didn't say this, and I should have said it earlier, but for, I guess, those who are listening and don't know about NativShark, Ty's the community manager at NativShark. We're like 30 minutes into the podcast already, but yes, Ty is.
Who am I?
Ty's an employee.
Who am I?
I don't know. He's been working for us for a while now, like almost 2 years, full time for 1.5 years, but like he contracted some work before that, did a bunch of random stuff until he finally settled into a role as community manager / community spokesperson / lead NativShark simp.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. I'm like, can I say it?
Yeah.
Yes, that's my official title. Wait, can we say that on Twitch? I don't know.
I don't know. Probably not, but we just did.
Hopefully not. Or hopefully it's all right.
We'll only say it once.
Yeah, we'll say it once. But yeah, it's very true.
Yeah. So yeah, that's who Ty is. That's what he does. And he learned Japanese with NativShark and, well, previously NihongoShark as his guide. So it was NihongoShark plus playing video games, basically.
Essentially,
that got him to the functional level, and then NativShark, he used that as well once it was out. But at that point, he was already pretty good.
At that point, yeah, when like phase 1 NativShark, like I've read all of that like 3 times over because I edited
You
it.
edited it. Yeah.
So like I can't say it specifically helped me, but there's still, it's actually really interesting, especially with phase 2, now that I'm getting into phase 2 in my studies. I'm seeing a lot of words where I'm like, yo, I would never have worded something like this. Holy crap, this is great. So like even phase 2, I've found myself like, oh, this good. I like.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, my studies they started with NihongoShark, and then they worked their way up and through NihongoShark, and yeah, that was a journey. It's been a while.
It's been a
Started
minute.
out with a PDF.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. All right, before we get into that a bit more, because I think we can kind of like unpack that a little bit and like what your journey was like, I'm gonna answer some questions from the chat.
Yeah.
Looks like these are from Twitch chat. We have Lingo Noob asking, I wanted to ask Caleb how he found mentors. I heard this mentioned in a previous podcast. Yeah, that's a good question. Depends on what you mean by mentor, I guess. But if you're referencing a previous podcast, I probably was talking about like business startup related mentors, and how to find those people. I mean, it was a challenge for me because I didn't live in an area that like had meetups and stuff like that. Like I didn't live in Silicon Valley, or I didn't live in, I mean, I did live in Seattle for a while, but by the time I started NativShark, I wasn't living in Seattle anymore. I was in Japan. So there wasn't like an avenue for me to like try to find people at like meetups and things like that. So I had to find people on the internet. And honestly, for the first almost year of running NativShark, I didn't realize the extent to which I needed a larger support network for running and building a business, because I just felt kind of alone, and I was like just doing what I needed to do or what I thought I needed to do, and I had like some help from like legal counsel, things like this, but that's not the same as having other people to talk to who have built businesses similar to the kind of business that you're building. So that's the important thing. So first thing is how to find mentors is try to understand what it is that you're actually doing, and then look for people who have done that thing, because I didn't do that. I looked for the wrong kinds of mentors and read the wrong kinds of books before analyzing really what kind of business I was building, what kind of company I wanted, what kind of product it was going to be. By which I mean to say, I used to be thinking in terms of like a hyper growth mentality, because that's what's popular. That's what you see when it comes to startups. But really what I wanted to build was a sustainable company that can support itself and its team and its community. And building a business based on a community is not a super popular or well-known thing. It's something that like I wanted to do before I knew that that's what I was doing. And then lately, as in the past 6 months, that's kind of become more apparent. So for me, the way I ended up finding actual sort of mentors was through Twitter.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Dude, Twitter.
100%. Just Twitter.
It works.
It does.
I see you on there all the time just talking to people.
Yep.
It's like, wow, there's some good conversations that happen on Twitter too.
Yep. That's it. Like I don't know exactly how the algorithmic gods be as they do. And my interests tended themselves in a specific direction, and I followed a couple people, and then the algorithm kept serving more people to follow until I found people that were talking about things that resonated with me. And then I followed those people, and then that led to them posting more things like that, and I found more people, and I just interacted with those people and their communities in a way that was interesting to them, I guess, and we had some connections. And then you reach out in DMs, and sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss, but that's pretty much it. Like it's just time and focused attention towards uncovering what you want and how you want to build what you're doing. And a lot of reaching out and not getting a response, or reaching out and it not going anywhere. Like a lot of that, right? For every 10 people I've talked to, there's like maybe one person that we end up continuing to talk and have a longer conversation. But all of these conversations I think are useful.
Yeah. You always got to be ready for the no's. but it'll feel really great when you get the yes.
Yep. So how I found business mentors and kind of redirected the ship was Twitter, basically. I found other people who are running small startups in a sustainable fashion, specifically the people at the Earnest Capital Group and Jesse Henley from Bento. Those two groups of people have been really influential in helping me discover what NativShark is and how we want to run it, and yeah, that kind of thing. So Twitter can suck if you use it in a way that allows it to suck. Because people say, hey, Twitter is blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Twitter is great to me because I filter out everything I don't want to see. And Twitter does let you do that because you can like filter certain words if you don't want to see it. Like I use Twitter for business connections and personal growth. So if there's any drama or any of these other things, just gone. Like I unfollow, I leave.
Yeah.
Like I don't have politics on there. I got nothing. It's just very focused. I'm using it as a tool to accomplish an ends to a mean in a world where you have to be online if you want to get connections. So
yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, you can mute people and everything. That's how I curate my feed.
Yep.
Mine's not very business related, but you know,
Yeah.
I do keep the toxic areas. As soon as I see them, I'm just mute, done. And it's very rare for me to find anything toxic on Twitter anymore.
Yes.
So
I guess the pro tip is curate your Twitter feed. Yeah. And that will, and then be interesting, you know, have interesting, engaging things to say. And that's a challenge, and you're not going to be good at it at first. For me personally too, like I never try to say anything. Like there's people out there on Twitter who like it looks like they're trying to be insightful. Like I don't have maybe that's I think that is actually a viable way to grow a personal brand, but I personally don't do it. I just be myself basically. Well, a certain version of myself, but yeah. So advice like be interesting is, I can see that as being problematic, but what I mean is iterate a lot. Like try different things, see what works, see what doesn't work. Always assume that if you don't get the response that you wanted, you could have done something better. Like it's easy to be like, oh, well, they just suck, but maybe they do, but that doesn't matter because you can still learn something from that interaction. So learn what you can do next time to have a better interaction. Like you should see some of my original like cold DMs. Like they're bad. I cringe.
Yeah.
I want to delete the shit, but like it's there as a reminder to me to be like,
100%.
this is terrible. But like you do it enough. And so maybe reach out to the people that you don't really care if you get a response back from first, so that you're good enough by the time at messaging yourself, so that when you reach out to the people that you do want to get in contact with, you have a more refined message. That's maybe another suggestion.
Learning from failure is very, very big and helpful. And sometimes it's tough because it sucks when you fail. But like the reality is sometimes you just got to learn from failure, and you got to learn from falling.
Yeah.
And getting yourself back up.
It's like with learning like Japanese or learning a language. It's like practice the language. Go read books. Go make conversations.
Go have a conversation and embarrass the hell out of yourself.
Yeah.
And then you'll remember whatever you did wrong for a while, and then you won't make that mistake again at least.
Yeah. Or like you used to do a thing where you would record yourself. I think you posted those, or you're posting them in the content roundup this week.
Yeah, it's the VOD. I wanted to do a video of it, but I've just not had the time to actually edit a video for it, sadly. But yeah, I recorded myself at 2 to 2.5 years in of myself, like a spoken journal. Yeah. And oh man, dude, it's so funny because like in the community events we have like students like halfway through phase 1, like at the end of phase 1.
Yeah, I know.
They're better than I was 2 years in when I was about to pass the end.
I know, dude. It's and they're like 6 months in. You're just like, wait a second. Yeah, this isn't fair.
Like, what the hell? Why didn't you guys make NativShark earlier?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Because we had to have you work on it, dude. Come on.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually really crazy because like, my speaking was really bad.
Right, but you did it. Like you practiced. That's the point. You failed essentially. Yeah. Like you made the attempt, and now you have something to look back on and be like, man, this is kind of cringe. In other ways, it was kind of like some parts that were good, and you're like, wow, I wasn't that bad. But then other times you're like, oh my god, I was that bad. But it's like the fact that you did it, because people ask this a lot. They're like, well, how am I going to practice speaking? And so we'll just do it. Make sentences, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that even if you're not getting interaction from another individual helping you correct the sentences, just the fact of you trying to make sentences yourself and speak them out loud is about 75% of the effort required to get better at speaking. The other 25% is the input from the other individual, but like the majority of it is just your ability to create a sentence.
Yeah, because I think something huge is, like, you can think you know how to say something, but you don't really know you don't know how to express the thing you want to express until you
Try to say
actually try, and then like choke on the sentence. You're like, wait, what the heck? And then you kind of like, oh no, I can go study this thing now because obviously I don't know enough about it, or I want to learn more about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And my point is, like,
you
you can get almost all of that benefit without actually having a conversation partner. And then when you get the chance, you can fill in that extra 25% by getting a conversation partner.
Yep.
Which
and you can ask them, have a list.
There's
stuff.
There's many ways to find people to talk to. There's some, like, one of those ways is within, the NativShark community itself. Other ways is through things like Hello Talk.
Hello Talk is what I use.
And I can't remember the others right now. Tandem, I think, is another one.
I feel like I've heard that around, but I've never checked it out myself.
So anyway, there's ways, and you should do it, and you should fail, because that's good. It's the practice.
Yep. It's not how many times you fall; it's how many times you get up. Right. Just get up more than you fall, and you're making progress. Because you're gonna fall, you're gonna embarrass yourself. I have so many embarrassing stories of like my first travels to Japan. We could get into one right now.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. So first trip ever to Japan. Here, let me turn the heater off. Cold in here. All right, so first trip ever to Japan. I was in Kyoto, I believe, and like I went to this museum, and they were telling me, oh well, it's about to close because it's like almost 5, and like shrines and temples and all this stuff, they close at like sunset. Yeah. And I go in, and they're like, oh, it's gonna close at 5, and I'm like, oh, I didn't understand you, and I think you asked me what nationality I am. So they're like, yeah, we're gonna close at 5. Are you sure you want to do this? I'm American.
I love it. I remember you tell me about that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I'm American, and then I pay the ticket and everything and go into this museum for like 10 minutes. They're like, yo, you got to get out now. And then,
but I'm American.
I'm American. Listen, I don't care what time your store closes. I'm American.
No.
Dude, it's so painful. But
it's good. You didn't forget that one again.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it is that they asked you that you misunderstood?
Oh, no, I don't remember too well. But I remember check times and when things close, and pay attention more for the word like G or whatever, like goji shimarimasu kedo daijoubu desu ka or something like that. It's probably what they'll ask you.
Right.
So
like all you need to understand there was like G as time, and then like shimaru like it's gonna close. Like whatever happened in between there, you could not understand that. You just need to know that there's a time and it's closing and it's gonna be soon. Because if you got those two parts, then you can re-ask the question, and then you can just say nanji desu ka, and then they'll repeat themselves.
Right. Or you could not be like me and just try to respond. You could actually say, sumimasen, kikoenakatta desu.
Yeah.
Which is, sorry, I didn't hear, which would make them repeat the same exact thing.
Yes.
So
that's another thing I used to do all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the phrase you used to say where they would make,
I think I said,
rephrase it.
もう一回お願いします is what I used to say.
I think so.
Something like that.
Right.
And then they're gonna be like a little confused, which is like it kind of means one more time please, but
yes,
they get confused, and then
that is the phrase that is in the Genki textbook, I think, for how to ask for again one more time. But what happens typically is you ask a native speaker that, not always, but usually they'll rephrase what it is.
Almost always. Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, but I wanted to know what the original thing was. It's basically like saying, could you say that in a different way, is more or less kind of what you're asking in that context.
Right.
Versus, which kikoenakatta or kikoemasen, like, then it's like, I didn't hear you. And then usually that leads to them just repeating themselves and saying the same thing again. Because, I couldn't hear you. Oh, okay, cool. or I didn't catch
Mhm.
that is like another way that you could kind of interpret that. I didn't hear you, I didn't catch that,
Right.
something like that. Versus,
Right.
could you
Because then you
please
have
say this
another
again
shot at it.
differently?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Because then they're gonna say it differently, and you're not gonna catch that.
exactly.
Like maybe you caught like one word of the first part or
100%.
something enough, like to kind of start grabbing at the context, and then when you hear it
Yes.
again, you're all right. But
Yeah.
then they rephrase it, and you're
Yeah.
like, now I don't know what you said twice, which happens way too often.
I remember that when you came the second time to Japan, you came to
Mhm.
Fukuoka, and we took the JLPT together, and you hung out at my house, and we were like
Mm.
out and about in the town, and I remember observing your Japanese a lot. That was back when I was
Mhm.
potentially better than you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I
You're
remember
definitely
that.
better at speaking and listening.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
that one happened a lot, and I remember pointing that out.
Mhm.
See, like, but just like you
Yeah.
do shit, and then you fail or have a mistake, and then you learn from it.
Mhm. Yeah. A lot of my Japanese is uh from making mistakes
Yeah.
in Japan, and that's like the biggest impacts of learning for me.
Right.
So, and that's really nice that we have NativShark, so you don't run into the stuff that I did, because I didn't have something that was like, here's how to live life and whatnot, and like
Yeah.
here's natural situations that you run into, and like the dialogues is like natural situations. Like I've told you this before, but like I know how to say we need to go back in time to kill a zombie dragon in Japanese, but like I don't know how to say to take out the trash, you know? Like,
Yeah,
stuff like
exactly.
that.
That's the kind of stuff that
Yeah.
happens.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I had a lot of holes in my Japanese back then.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a couple I need to pave over, but
Right. But it's getting filled out.
yeah. Chie says heisa. Yeah, heisa is a good word, so they're gonna close. So that's a good word if I was paying attention to what they said. Heisa jikan. So closing time is soon.
閉鎖時間が5時となっていますか？もうすぐ
もうすぐたまりますけど。
たまりますけど。
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, those are good words.
Lingo Noob says, yeah, TBH, my dream was to make a language learning web app, but now that NativShark exists, don't know what to do.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry, can't help you there. I know
Yeah.
we just went and built the best one. What can I say?
You know, just pat ourselves on the back a little.
I would say it's incredibly difficult to do, and don't try it. Don't do it. It's too hard.
It's so much.
I don't even know why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, we're crazy.
But here it is. What I would say is, if you enjoy building web apps and you like language learning, just build like some tool or something. Like build a verb conjugator, or just kind of something fun that you can throw up on the internet for free. That helps, satisfy that itch of wanting to create something language related. Trying to build like a company out of it and like a fully comprehensive app is incredibly expensive and takes a lot of time. So if you have a lot of dedication, you want to compete with us, I mean, by all means, go for it. But yeah, we didn't fully understand the difficulties when we started, and
yeah,
that's definitely not for everybody. So
yeah, you have to put a lot of your life into it.
Yeah.
So
if you feel like I did, and like you literally can't live your life unless the thing that you want to create exists, if you feel like that, then probably make that thing. But if you don't feel like that, then work on stuff that provides you like satisfaction and enjoyment. To instead of being like, I have to do this crazy insane goal, come up with something manageable that can still feel like you're contributing to whatever it is that you want to contribute towards.
Right.
I think that's like,
I mean,
a bit better advice than chase the biggest thing possible. Unless that really, really is important to you, so that's part of like a self-discovery process.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, I think a lot of it is, I think like a more manageable goal is literally just learn the language, because by being really good at the language, you'll be able to help the community of whatever language you want to learn. So even if you're not necessarily making an app, you can still be beneficial to the community. You can join a bunch of communities and help out where you can and do things like that. And that's kind of what I did.
That's
and then
what
that led me to being employed at NativShark. So
exactly.
Yeah. So, and, who knows what opportunities you will get once you actually have a good amount of skill with the language. So
Right.
I'd say that's probably a good path to follow. That's not going to be hyper stressful if you're not ready to commit your life to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, like Ty's watched me and what I've done, and I'm pretty sure he's happy that I'm the one doing it and it's not him.
Yeah. No, yeah. If it was me, I don't think we would have gotten this far.
Right.
I don't have I have the burning desire to use the tool, but I don't have the burning desire to create the tool, because I know how much creating the tool is, and I've seen everyone on the team go through it, and I've been a part of it, and I haven't even taken on nearly the amount of craziness that like you and Niko have.
Right.
And yeah, no, I'm good in my position here.
which is a good point, and I think that what we're trying to say here is that it's like there's many ways to engage in a meaningful way with the things that provide you joy in life.
Yeah.
And I think that's not often talked about enough. Like in pop culture, it's like everyone's like, go do the biggest thing and make the biggest splash. But it's like what Ty does at NativShark is incredibly impactful. And it doesn't matter that he didn't like literally create the software. It's like he's still interacting in a way with the company, with the product that's incredibly impactful to the product and also to the community, and it's fulfilling for himself. So it's like I think Ty is a better like role model of like just like how to live life than I am. Like don't do what I've done. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like Ty started learning Japanese, got good at it, and just consistently engaged in the community and annoyed me long enough that I hired him.
Yes, it's true.
Which is not a strategy. Don't do that.
Annoy Caleb. All right, pro strat everyone. Annoy Caleb until you have a job.
No, don't do that. It won't work.
No, yeah, it won't work.
Yeah. The follow-up question was, any advice or how to get into language learning content creation? Get started. Join the NativShark community and create community content. We will, if it's good, we will promote it. That's what we do. If you post and
link it.
Yeah, if you post in Shark community, whatever it is.
Content, community content, and promo. It's over in general section.
But as far as like how to get into it, just start. I don't know what to say. Like
do it.
It's really easy to start as Twitch stream. That's probably the simplest way to get started. Start a stream on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook. Do your studies. Talk to people as they come through. Talk about what you're doing. Start there. Yeah, go ahead.
Treat your Twitch streams like recording sessions, so you have video content, and then you're like having your content creation time there. I still need to take my own advice there, so you shouldn't listen to me because I'm not as like, and this kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier, is like people who aren't where you want to be, you should be cautious about listening to their advice all the time.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that, but treat your recording sessions or your Twitch sessions like they're recording sessions, and you can make videos and you can have Twitch streams, and then you're doing both at the same time.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to discover and rediscover yourself until you find what content that really works best for you and what you enjoy doing the most. So that's going to be a big part, is why starting now is most important, because you're gonna have to reinvent yourself a couple times, most likely.
That's something Ty knows very well.
That's something I live with. Yes.
You've reinvented yourself a couple times.
I have. Yeah. That's been more, that's including content creation, but yeah, just life in general. I've had to reinvent myself a couple times, and it's been a pretty fun process. Yeah.
So that's the advice. Get comfortable with reinvention and start now. Don't start tomorrow. Start now. And then you'll get
That's
better.
the advice to anything. Hey, I want to do X. All right, start today.
Yeah. Basically.
Tomorrow never comes, because you're going to hit tomorrow, and then you're going to be like, oh, well, no, I don't have the time, so I'll do it tomorrow. No, I don't have the time. I'll do it tomorrow. You're going to hit tomorrow again, and you're like, oh, no, I'll do it this weekend. And then something's going to come up on the weekend, and then you're going to be busy that weekend. Like, start chipping away at it. When I started learning Japanese, I had the time, thankfully, so I could do like, oh, okay, I want to learn Japanese. I looked it up. Oh, okay, I guess I'm spending an hour every day now studying, But I didn't wait to the weekend, because the weekend I was going to be busy doing something, and then I'd have an excuse to push it off for later. If you want to do something, you got to do it today. Whatever you want to do, start. Just start. 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day until you're more comfortable. You can chuck half hour a day, whatever whatever makes sense in your schedule, but do something.
Yeah.
Start.
I love
Super
it.
Important.
Agreed. Do it.
Yep. Do it.
My shower thought from last night was related to that
Mm.
in the sense of, I was like, you only have now. Like, there is never later. Like,
Yeah,
do everything now because there is no later. Like, later is fictional.
it really is.
Like,
Yeah.
you can't literally do everything now. So, like, you can't. But the sentiment is you're always going to be doing things now, because even if, like, I'm going to do this thing in the future, that the future's never going to come, actually. It's just going to be now. But now it's going to be it's going to be later, but it won't be later. It'll be now.
We only live in today.
That's
we
right.
only live right now. Yeah. We don't live in the past. We don't live in the future. So when you want something done, now is the time.
Souko says, but right now I want to sleep. And that's true. Sometimes you just need to go to sleep.
Go to bed.
Just go to bed.
Yeah.
Don't be so hard on
Sometimes,
yourself.
yeah.
Like, that's the point. That's what Ty is getting at here. It's like,
Yeah.
do the thing, what you need to do. Maybe that is sleep. Maybe it is start the thing now. But it's not about, like, postponing it forever. It's about starting it.
Right. Yeah. I have, though, to be fair, there's definitely plenty of times where I'm like, oh crap, I didn't do my studies today, and then I'll do them right before bed. It's very rare, but
right. Well, that's because you've already started.
Like,
that's different.
Yeah, that's about
that's continuing the progress. We were talking about starting. Like, the question was how do you get started in something?
Very true.
Versus how do you continue something? That's a whole other conversation. Which you also have lots of good advice on.
Yeah, I've lived that. I mean, dude, what was my maximum streak? 800 days?
I think it was longer than that.
Was it longer than that? I don't remember. I'll have to find it and I'll post it.
1,300 and some, I think.
Was it really? I guess it was like 3 years in when I finally accidentally broke it and never wanted to redo a day more in my life. Which I guess I'm really, I have a good life if I'm able to say that about just breaking a streak.
Yeah, man.
So thankful for that. But yeah, I got maybe 800 to 1,000 days, something like that. Never missed a day of studying Japanese in my life before I accidentally broke it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And after you broke it, it was still okay. It felt bad, but it was still okay.
It was still okay.
Yeah,
it felt bad, but then I'm like, okay, well, that's okay, because even on the day I broke it, I still played Pokemon in Japanese. So I'm like, yeah, technically,
Technically, yeah, no, but that's true. It does. It actually counts. You were still using the language on that day. Like, that matters.
It was.
You don't have to be that strict with yourself. It's the fact that effort was put in using the thing, and it was every single day. Like Celtox just said in the chat, he says the advice you all gave on it's easier to study every day than 90% of days has really worked for me. No internal arguments when I am getting tired and haven't done reviews yet. I just need to get them done now because I'm just a person who studies Japanese every day. And that's super Niko advice. I know where that's coming from. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I think I might have passed that on to Celtox, but I learned that from Niko.
Yeah.
And Niko is who I have to thank for my insane streak as well.
Yeah.
Because of that advice. Like, if you're the person who studies every single day, then there's no internal argument. Like, am I going to buy X thing? Like, you go through you just walk by McDonald's. Am I going to get ice cream today? No, I'm the person who doesn't eat ice cream. Boom, conversation over.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're walking by McDonald's, say you're going home, walking past McDonald's every day after work, you're like, oh, I might get ice cream today. No, I shouldn't. Oh, I might get ice cream, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But if you're just the person who doesn't eat ice cream, then you don't eat ice cream.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're the person who studies Japanese every day, am I going to study Japanese today? Of course I am. I'm the person who studies Japanese every day, and there's no mental effort involved in making that decision if you do it with 100% consistency. And that's why, like, I will say it was easy to maintain a streak of that length because I never had to argue with myself. When am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? It's just like, oh no, I just do it. I study it every day. That's who I am.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's good. It works.
It does.
I,
it really does.
on the other hand, have not been that consistent, but I've still managed to learn. So it does work. Yeah. Even if you don't.
It does work either way.
It is easier to do what you did. I expended more effort to not study every day than you did to study every day. However, we both got good at Japanese. So, like, again, because then some people hear advice like what you just gave, and then they think, well, I'm never going to be the kind of person that can do that, so therefore I cannot learn Japanese. So I'm here to say, no,
very true.
That's just the simplest, the easiest, the most efficient way to do it, the best way. but there are other ways that are less optimal that still work, right?
Yeah,
And I'm an
true.
example of the case that's not optimal. My learning Japanese math has been the non-optimal case, but it's still been effective because it was still consistent.
You still did it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I just had to expend more effort,
Yeah,
so like it's more pain on my half, and when I could have just done what you did, you know. But like, yeah, like what he just mentioned here as well. He said it worked for me specifically. Everyone has different motivators. Exactly. I believe exactly what you said is really good advice, and I think people should follow it if they're having trouble committing. I think making that kind of mental choice is really beneficial, and it can change your life in more ways than just getting good at Japanese. However, if you're not at a life position where you are able to do that, there's still hope, and you can still learn Japanese and other things.
100%. Yeah. Whenever you have downtime, just try to do it. Yeah.
Right. For me, it's been like
makes it easy. That's it.
I have to hit greater than 50% consistency in order to excel. Not excel, but in order to progress in something. For me, like, so if I get 60% of days studied, I'm gonna make progress. If it's less than 50%, that thing will either stagnate or regress. Right. So in my mind, I'm always just trying to get greater than 50%. But on the things that I like, there are certain things that I have done every single day, regardless. Study Japanese is just not one of those things. Like my study Japanese is between like 50 to like 80%, depending on the month, and then some bursts of 100%. You know, but yet
like our grind to the N1.
Yeah, exactly.
That was
And I mean, I still learned. I still got good. You're better than me now because you have been more consistent and like that pays dividends. But my point is that there are many roads to success, and what matters is the one that you can stick to, no matter what that method is. So you can think of these different methodologies as tool sets, right? Like you can use a power tool or you can use a non-power tool, but both tools can accomplish the job. One will be a little bit easier than the other.
Yep.
Better than not having the tool.
A valid point. Yeah. It's better than not starting and doing the thing that you want to do. Yeah. Right. Like, yeah, it's just start and be as consistent as you can. And then you'll get somewhere as long as you show up as often as possible, you know, even if you're half on, half off with it.
Yeah.
It'd just be a little bit more effort because sometimes you'll need to relearn some forgotten things at some points, which is like basically what you were saying with you're giving yourself an extra challenge, but that does not by any means mean it's impossible.
Right. Yeah. So
yeah,
stick at it, friends. Like
start and go.
Start and go and don't stop.
Start and go. Yeah. Just keep swimming.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the way. That's that's how you do it. That's summarize.
Literally it. Yeah.
Problem solved. All right. So another question before we finish here, is how did you originally find NihongoShark? I don't actually remember.
Google. I think Google.
Just like a Google search. You remember what for? Any idea?
I might have ran into it on Reddit, maybe. Because I think we had the learn kanji method, and I think I saw a snippet on Reddit, and then I went to Google, and was like, "Where's this from?" or what's something, or they linked or whatever the heck.
Interesting.
And then I ran into the full method, and then I saw how great that like everything was written, and like this makes so much sense. Like holy crap! And there was some mindset sprinkled in. I'm like, where's the rest of this?
Yeah.
And then I bought the PDF almost immediately. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think that's how I found it.
A lot of people found it through the kanji
remember.
article.
Yeah. I can't remember like the fully, but I think it was something along those lines. I think it might have been like a link from Reddit or Google. I can't remember which one. I do remember specifically Googling NihongoShark a while back, but I don't remember if it was before or after I found that article or what.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's how I got started. Yeah.
And then
I wanted to learn because I was a nerd. I
yeah,
wanted to play Nintendo games from Japan and watch a ton of anime.
I
So
mean, you did it.
I did it. I literally did it, dude.
You
It was great.
manifested that dream so hard that you pulled yourself across the world. Got a
Yeah, I
job
literally
related to
did.
that thing.
Got a
Like
job where it's my job to be good at Japanese so I can be better at nerding in my hobby.
exactly. That's the
Hell
ultimate
yeah.
manifestation of I just want this thing bad enough that I'm gonna make it happen. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And I think
yeah.
that's part of the reason I was able to continue that streak for so long is like I really wanted it. Like I've never wanted to be good better at Japanese than than like anything in my life. Like the thing that I've ever wanted in my life the most,
Yeah.
be really good at Japanese. So
Right.
it's a great motivation.
And
And then like all the progress that I saw,
it
it was
caused like
easy to
so
keep
much
it
life
going.
change for you. Even
Yeah.
before you got the
Yeah.
job, it was still changing your life.
Yeah. I mean, I started because I was like bored in my life. Like I was like in college and I didn't like any of the things I was doing. So I'm like, well, I want to learn something because I'm not learning anything interesting in college, right? So that's when I started studying. I was like, yeah, I learned Japanese. I learned cool stuff every day. Like,
Mhm.
hey, I learned 20 new Japanese words every day and X amount of grammar points or whatever.
Yeah.
And look at all these things I've learned. This is really cool. And it's all building on itself. It's all iterating. And then I seeing myself get better. And that was a really good, like, just positivity to my life
Mm-hmm.
to have. So yeah, that's one of the big things is even before I realized it was changing my life, it was bringing such good vibes to me.
Right. I love that. And I've heard that from
Mm.
other students as well, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of our students was saying to me that he like NativShark, using NativShark, he didn't use it before that, but using NativShark
Mm.
has really impacted his entire life in the sense that it provided him the framework to realize that small, consistent progress over time builds on itself. Like he committed to using
Yeah.
NativShark for 5 months, and he's like, I can't even believe how good I've gotten
Yeah.
just by doing something so seemingly simple over time. He's like, now I am applying that to, learning music and learning development.
Mm.
It's like
That's
the
good.
framework is there. You can learn it with NativShark. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to like assemble the the resources to learn because like we don't teach things other than
Yeah.
Japanese, but the like the methodology and the framework can be applied to really anything.
Yeah. That reminds me how much like my life has changed from learning Japanese, not because of Japanese, but because of how to learn. Like I learned how to learn along with along with learning Japanese.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's crazy how consistency does work. And I remember thinking on the day I started learning Japanese, I didn't have a real specific goal. Like yeah, okay, I'll get good at anime and I'll play some video games or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I remember specifically on the day I started, one of the thoughts, like right before I hit like open Anki deck or whatever the heck, was like, I'm gonna do this, and one day I'll be good at it. I don't know when. I don't know when that's gonna be, but I know if I show up and I just do it, I will get better at it, and eventually we'll hit this point where it's like, yeah, I'm chilling, right?
Yeah. That's
But
awesome.
yeah,
A-
starting,
And that's
showing up.
better than how I started because I did things like I'm going to be good by this time. I'd be like,
Oh,
I'm
no, I
going to be
never did
good
that.
by in 1 year I will be good. And I put like a date
Mm.
on the calendar, and that destroys your your ability to
That
be consistent.
goals are stressful, dude. I just
Exactly.
go.
Exactly. You
Oh
should
wait, no, I did do the goal for the N1 the second time.
the
I
second
took it.
time. The second time. Yeah, but that was different.
First time I was like, let's see.
That
Yeah.
that wasn't starting it though. When you
Right.
started it,
Yeah.
you were like,
No,
I'll
I
get
just
good at this eventually, but I'm gonna go for it.
Mhm.
When I started, I was like, I'm gonna get this by this date, and you got better. In the long
Mm.
run, you ended up getting better than me because you had that like it doesn't matter how long it takes because it ends up being more consistent than the
Just
person
going.
who's trying to race for something.
Yeah. Cause yeah, that's the thing is like you set a goal, and I mean not to say goals are bad, but like a goal with language learning and self-learning, like I feel like it just creates stress, and I'm not about it.
I think
You know.
setting a goal is good, but a deadline is detrimental.
Okay. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. Yes, a deadline
Yeah.
is yikes. A goal is good. Yeah.
A
'Cause
goal
I
or a
guess, like, for
target.
me,
Yeah.
my goal was video games and whatnot, and I've reached the goal.
Yep.
But if I had a deadline for it, I would have been stressed out, and then I would have quit. I feel like I
Right.
don't do deadlines very well. Yeah.
Yes.
At least personal goal deadlines.
Yeah.
I
You're
feel like
pretty
I hit
good
my
with
deadlines
deadlines
with MS.
for work, to be honest.
Yeah.
Though
But personal goals, I can't do deadlines.
even that was like something that you've worked on over the past year while working for us.
Yeah.
Is like how to
That's
actually
true.
hit reasonable deadlines.
Yeah, I think that's something we've all learned.
Yeah, for sure. No, the whole company's learned it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a place to find
Mm.
Caleb and Ty's language learning journeys? Not at the moment,
Yo,
but there needs to be.
there needs to be. I was planning on making a big piece of content, like
Yeah.
a couple of hours long or something. I don't know. It'd have to be a couple parts on my like personal channel of like what everything I've done.
Yeah.
You know, like all my mindsets, all my tools, and just go for it. But yeah, it doesn't exist yet. I mean, we have a bio written about me, but yeah, on NativShark. But that needs updating because I think it still says I'm a writer.
Yeah.
And it doesn't show me as living in Japan yet, so
Should
I have
probably
to update that
that
sometime soon.
But yeah, you can read the bio that needs updating. I think Niko has a bio as well.
He does. Yeah.
And then for me, I don't think I wrote one for myself.
I think Niko might have wrote a quick one for you, but
Yeah.
maybe not. I don't remember.
I definitely want to create something long form that's like a video, probably, of me
Yeah.
talking about the whole process of like, how did I get from being like a kid in university in the middle of the country who wanted to learn Japanese to founding a startup and a tech company that teaches, well, anything, but right now teaches Japanese, and now I live in Japan. Like, what was that journey like? That'd be fun to you know,
fun to explore.
Put that into some sort of long form content. Like, by no means do I think I've really arrived anywhere yet, and if even arrival is a thing that happens in life, but
yeah, that's a whole topic by itself.
Yeah, I am at a place in my journey where I'm like transitioning between this happened and I'm going into a new phase. So it would be an interesting time to write like a part one of this is what happened. I don't know what's happening next, but this is what has happened. And you're kind of in like a bit of a similar spot where it's like you've done a bunch of stuff, you've gotten to here, and now you're kind of settling in for like, all right, I'm gonna live in Japan now. So it's like you have a chapter of getting here, and what was that all about? How did you learn? But now, in the next couple months, you're settling into now I'm starting a new phase of life. So it'll be a good time to make it because you can reflect on what got you to here.
It really would be.
Which will probably help you direct the next bit.
I can really reflect and see mistakes and successes and just really break them down. It's always nice to have that reflection, you know, go through what you did, learn from your mistakes, understand your successes and why you succeeded, see how you can potentially duplicate it or make it better in the future.
Yeah.
Self-reflection is just so huge that I need to do it more. I do it sometimes, but not as often, not terribly often. As often as I want to or should, perhaps.
Cool. Well, we've covered a lot of stuff. I think one of my final questions is, how has streaming been?
Like as a whole?
Yeah. Like, what's it like to be streaming as a thing that you do for part of your time, both at home, like in your personal time, and also like for work, like you stream. What's that like? You're not a huge streamer yet. You're just like an up and coming streamer.
Yeah.
What's it like?
Yeah, it's a really big question. I mean, at first, all right, so when we first started doing it, I was like, holy crap, this is insane. Like, how am I gonna, there was a lot of self-doubt, and you know me, and that's something that I've always worked on.
Right.
And I think I'm in a pretty solid spot with it now. So that's good. But especially when I started NativShark and started streaming, I was like, am I going to be able to do this? Like, this is crazy. But it's really cool to see everyone being really supportive. Even if we still have a small community, it's really like I don't even want to say, I don't even know if I want to word it like that. Like, even if we have a small community,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we have this community and it's like amazing.
Right.
We have a lot of people who are really dedicated.
It's not that small either if you think about it.
It's really not that small. It's really not that
I'm
small.
like, hold up,
Yeah,
it's
we just
pretty
have this
good
community.
size
It's
here. Yeah.
yeah. We have a lot of people showing up and they love interacting with me, and it's very surreal sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, how else do I put it? And then so that's for like for NativShark. It's crazy. First off, that like it's even part of my job, you know. When you're like, hey Ty, you're gonna be a streamer, I'm like, oh, okay, let's do it. Right.
I mean, you were the
I'm
guy
like,
who
oh,
learned the language in video games, like, you know.
yeah, I was gonna say it makes so much sense because
Yeah.
I literally just like NS'd my way and video gamed my way up to being good at Japanese.
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense that I would
Share that with others.
Yeah, and be a front of like, hey, here's how you can do it, and here's the results, and all this stuff. So yeah, if anyone's listening later on, come watch our streams. I love to ramble about language learning advice. If you have specific questions,
Yeah.
please distract me with them. I love it. But yeah, it's so surreal, really. I don't know how else to
How about
describe
like finding games to play? How's that
finding games to play? That's tough. That's tough. I'm gonna be honest, it's tough.
Yeah.
Because all right, so for NativShark, finding games to play, it's like I need to find the game that has relatively simple dialogue, so it's actually useful to a lot of people. Because like there's crazy stuff, like, well, Sekiro right now I'm playing is not simple in the slightest, but the gameplay is interesting enough where it's fine. So I need to find a balance of either language is cool or gameplay is cool, and like I can't have it be only language because then it's kind of boring to watch, and I can't have it be only gameplay because then we're not even talking about the language at all, and it doesn't give me like any points to grab onto and talk about.
Right.
So trying to find that balance is tough. Like Pokemon, the Mystery Dungeon one, the remake that they did on the Switch, that was really good for that. But then there's like Ni no Kuni, which is completely dialogue, and it's like people are probably not joining or like aren't as captivated because they have no idea what's going on, you know.
Right.
Stream Persona 5, great dialogue.
Same problem.
Persona 5 is a visual novel.
Yeah.
That's an exaggerated problem of Ni no Kuni.
Yeah.
Persona 5 is basically a VN.
Right.
So it's like it's only dialogue. There's like maybe 10 minutes of gameplay and then 3 hours of dialogue, and that's just like,
yeah. I don't think we've totally solved it yet.
I don't think we have.
But like at least for a NativShark stream, I think in some ways your personal stream is a bit easier to build for. But for the NativShark stream, I think we still haven't totally solved it. Because like, yeah, stream Persona 5, like that's like the default suggestion. You think, oh, that's probably a great idea, but that actually doesn't lead to very engaging content. You know, it's like it doesn't lead to a very good and fun stream experience.
It doesn't, yeah. Because here's the other thing is, I have to, well, I don't necessarily have to, but I really want to. I try to translate every sentence in the game that I see.
Yeah.
And if you have me translating Persona 5, you're going to have a brain dead tie in about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be engaging in the slightest.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a lot of effort. It's actually, you know, that reminds me is something that I really enjoyed about streaming is it's let me prove to myself that I can actually interpret pretty well.
Yeah.
You know,
you're not too bad at it.
It's actually like I surprised myself. Like I'm good enough at Japanese where I can like do stuff in near real time and not have to worry too much about it, especially if it's like a simpler game like Animal Crossing or something.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. It's something I didn't realize I could do. And it's getting it to be a lot less effort now than when it was at the start, thankfully.
Yeah.
But
I think my favorite so far has been Sekiro. And I mean, I thought the Mystery Dungeon parts of that were pretty cool too. But definitely I've enjoyed the Sekiro streams and then the Minecraft streams, which is different. So that's a different goal.
Yeah, it's completely different.
I don't know, how would you describe it? Like, because the Minecraft stream also is pretty good. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Seems to be pretty streamable. Those. But like, how does that fit in your mind?
Okay, so for Sekiro, it's like gameplay really cool, and then Sekiro, like the setting of Sekiro is ancient Japan, so it's
Yeah.
already automatically
Good fit.
cool, and
Yeah.
I nerd that. Yeah, I rep that. Um, so that's automatically cool, and then it's got a lot of ancient Japanese, and I can be like, oh, look at this ancient Japanese, and here's how it is in modern Japanese, and this is why it sounds kind of weird, and this is why, you know, a Japanese person would even need to study this kind of language,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It's like crazy amounts of ancient stuff. Um, and I think that's really cool. And then like even if you're not interested in the language, you can watch me get my butt whooped by the game. So
Yeah.
it's engaging for two separate reasons,
Mm.
and even if you're only there for one of them, it's really cool. Um, and then Minecraft, it lets me talk with everyone a lot easier.
Mm.
So it's a much more casual experience that borderlines like just being on just chatting on Twitch,
Right.
you know. And then, you know, everyone's always on there, and I log in and there's some new structure almost every single time. It's like, holy crap, what did you guys do while I was
Right.
gone?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I view the Minecraft server and the stream element of it as being something that builds the community. You know,
Yeah,
it helps
yeah,
us
it
all.
does.
You know, it's like a virtual hangout place
Mm,
for NativShark.
yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
There's so
it's
many
kind of
people
like
who
random.
are,
Like, why does a company have a Minecraft server? But like, why not?
honestly though, right? Yeah, I mean, if you're building a community, what's
Exactly.
better to do than play some video games together? You know, we
Exactly.
have a voice channel. I don't know if people have used it too much yet,
I've seen it
but
used like once or twice. Yeah, not a ton
yeah,
of
I've
activity
seen,
in there
yeah,
yet.
yeah. But it's really cool because like I'll log in and say hi to everyone, and everyone says hi to me, and then
Right.
we all just hang out and do random stuff, go searching on
Yeah.
for adventures, and build all these cool Japanese style buildings and roads and ramen shops and shrines and
Yeah, exactly. There's so much you can do. I think like people who use NativShark and people who might be listening to this, like this episode of the podcast is obviously quite different because it's not me and Niko talking about the business. It's just you and I talking about learning Japanese and studying and all this
yeah.
kind of stuff in the community. And it's
Mm.
like when people use NativShark, it's like you can interact and learn and have a great experience just using the product.
Yep.
But if you are interested in it, there's this entire massive, wonderful community aspect to like
Mhm.
that exists as just a part and a benefit and a perk of using NativShark. Like there's a whole group of people that you can
Yeah.
interact with, and I know like legitimate real life friendships have been forged through the
Yeah.
NativShark community. Like really
Yeah.
saw like other servers have been spawned off of it from friend groups that got built inside of the community that then went and started their own little mini
Mhm.
community. So it's like it's wild, like it's real and it's really
Yeah.
fun and it's cool to see. And I think that's like why we have Minecraft right now, for example.
Yeah.
And I hope there's more things as the community continues to grow. There's other things like that we can do. Just like a way that we
VR.
can, yeah, VR chat. So there's just a way to help everyone like bond and hang out with each other and like
Avenue for it.
right, like learning Japanese. People are all over the
Positive.
world. It's fun to meet other people who are doing it is with you. Because sometimes when you can be the only one in your entire circle of known people that's learning the language.
Me.
Yeah, that was you, right? Like you didn't have anyone around you physically or anyone that you knew who cared or anything. But
Mhm.
through the internet, through the NativShark community, you're able to find literally thousands of people who are interested in the same
Yeah.
things that you are. And it is way more motivating. Like Learning Progress is one of my favorite channels.
Mm. It's a really nice channel. Yeah, I think that's one of the big things is like, yeah, when I told people like that I knew in real life, hey, I'm learning Japanese, most of the time it was like, why? And or it's like, what are you doing? Why would you bother? Yeah, just why would you bother? Right? Or you're gonna quit, so you should just quit now. And it's like, you know,
Mm.
and like one of the reasons that I love the NS community so much is that it creates a positive environment for it. And hopefully I was able to kind of show that in just kind of everything I've said so far.
I think so.
But the thing is like everyone in the community is very similar in like, yeah, we all love learning the language and we're all really supportive of each other. And having a supportive environment, even if it's online, it's so crazily helpful.
Yeah.
Like mentally, like keeping with the journey. That it's really why I like being a part of it so much. and I'm glad that I'm the community manager.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it makes sense.
it's like my job to hang out and be a part of this great community that I would have been hanging out with anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course.
So
yeah,
yeah,
no, we definitely
come
love to
join
have
the
you as the community manager person.
Thank
I hate the word
Appreciate it.
manager. We were talking about this the other day.
I
It's like, what is this gross word? You don't like manage. You.
I
I don't know.
I am
Community
manager.
community spokesperson, lead person, whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know. Director, whatever.
Yeah.
We need a better title.
The S word that we can't say on Twitch. The community.
Yes. Dude, we need like a goofy name for your position. We need something better. Like
Community shrimp.
Shrimp. Oh, man. Yep. Okay, on that note, I think we'll wrap up the episode here. Hey, Cinder's Corner just subscribed. Welcome. Thanks for the subscription, Cinder. As always, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Ty the NS shrimp. Hey. I got that song stuck in my head. I'm a shrimp.
Oh my god. I don't know that song.
I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
It's been fun. We've been chatting here.
It's been fun.
With Cinder. Oh, just in time for the end. So on brand. Yes. I'm sorry.
Cinder.
Oof.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, Ty and I have a meeting to go to. The meeting that is always after the Wednesday podcast.
Yeah. That we're 2 minutes late to right now.
Oh yeah. Whoops,
I think
we are.
Yeah.
So. All right. Thanks everyone who tuned in and hung out with us in the live chats on the live stream. Thanks everyone who's listening to this in post on your podcasting platform of choice. Give Ty a follow on Twitter.
Yeah.
What's your handle?
Yeah. Moku Wolf. MOAKU Wolf.
Yeah. Give Ty a
Twitter.
follow. Go give me a follow at Caleb Anderson. Yeah. And use NativShark because it's great. It's been fun talking about the community and about your journey learning Japanese. Yeah. Thanks, Ty.
Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. All right.